don't really want to watch any more people dance for their phones. Like, I don't want to watch it. I don't. It's so embarrassing. If we're self-respecting adults, like, this is what we do. Like, this is the bulk of, like, what we do for most of our time. Come on.
What constitutes a good story?
Conflict. Like, there's no story until something goes wrong. It's really, really boring. Like, imagine watching a film where nothing goes wrong.
Do guys just want to sleep with women?
You know what? I would prefer an honest over a dishonest nice guy any day.
How lucrative is writing?
It's pretty lucrative. I think the industry is in a really bad place.
Can
right
we
now.
talk about figures openly?
I hate content.
Very good start. आ जाओ.
Just, yeah.
क्यों?
I mean, it's just gotta stop now. You know what I mean? It's just gotta stop.
Really?
Like, let's take a break. Like, I'm from Delhi, and then there was this one day I remember, not one day, there was like a week. I can't remember what the context was, but the government did this thing that like odd number cars, have to stay home today, and even numbers get to go out. And then the even number cars, like the next day, had to stay at home. I don't even know how they calculated. It was odd and even or whatever. And the pollution levels dropped by like half. Just imagine if like one day everyone stopped making content. Like, just imagine that. I'm not even talking about like phone. Keep your phone. No problem. We'll be on WhatsApp. So one day, no one makes content and no one consumes it. We'll be so happy. We will be so happy. It will be like we would remember who we are.
Does the world need so much content?
Of course not. Did the world ever need content? I mean, like think about it. There was access to information always, right? The information's there, right? The only thing that's changed is like the access. Yeah, of course. Like, comedy or like creative things or things people have written, maybe they didn't exist, and maybe that content, like, it motivated people to do it. But I mean, I remember going to an encyclopedia for things, and that also existed. It was kind of fun, but I just feel like other than the access, I mean, I don't really want to watch any more people dance for their phones. Like, I don't want to watch it. I don't. It's so embarrassing.
Really?
Of course. I mean, I'm embarrassed.
But why is it embarrassing? Yeah,
I don't know,
have you
because,
shot?
I mean, if we're self-respecting adults, like, this is what we do. Like, this is the bulk of like what we do for most of our time. Come on. Like, how did you think you would spend 8 hours, okay, of your week at whatever age you are doing this? No.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Eisha chooses to come on the podcast and just roast the
I'm
profession
not talking
at
about
all.
you. I'm talking about myself. I'm
In
talking
general,
about all of
yeah.
us. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's like a world out there. Like, have you ever tried walking barefoot on like wet earth? It feels lovely. That's also fun.
This is a great conversation.
good for anxiety.
I want to deep dive into it because
Okay.
sometimes I am also tired. Like,
Yeah.
as a creator,
Yeah.
I did not think I'd signed up for this.
Right. Which is what?
Which is always on like कि आज डालो,
Yeah.
आज एक story डालो. Hey guys, so many of you, nobody asked you.
I mean, the hey guys is like, yeah.
Hey
Hey
guys
guys is, yeah.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
so many of you have been asking me. Nobody asked you.
Yeah, nobody ever asked me anything.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up.
And
Who's
definitely
asking?
not the skincare regime. That's like 100%. No one ever asked anyone their skincare regime. And if they did, they certainly did not follow it.
So it's just too much.
Yeah,
I
of course
feel,
it's
and-
too much. I mean, it's done to death. I mean, what's not? Think about it this way. It's so saturated. Okay, somebody put out a song. Okay, now what happens with that song? It gets remixed into something. It gets like converted into some kind of dance reel into something. We're just like hashing the same shit over and over and over.
But
you
that
know?
is probably the intent behind putting out that song, that the artist would want that song to go as
There you
viral.
go. There you
as-
go. That's the intent.
हाँ,
That's now the intent of everything is to go viral.
but creators का तो intent वही है कि content ज़्यादा viral जाए, ज़्यादा numbers आए.
I know,
then
but I'm just
फिर-
saying, like,
But बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया.
I mean, I hope I never get to that point in life as like an artist or a creator. Firstly, the fact that we gave ourselves that name creator.
हाँ.
Remember the last,
The lack of a better word.
yeah, but like
There's no
God
other-
was a creator once, Other than that, nobody else has been like referred to as creator. Okay?
I don't think I've resonated with any other guest so much like we've started this conversation, because I have the same thoughts. Ki yaar, come on, like for the lack of, I don't like the word influencer as well. Who are
Yeah.
you influencing?
I
How
mean,
do you
I know I
know?
prefer influencer to creator. You know, I feel like it's way less arrogant.
You think
Creator? I mean, like, isn't everyone creating something? Why isn't the chef a creator?
all right
It's
then.
creator.
No, I
I'm a
mean you're right. I
creator.
mean, for all the right reasons, it is
Yeah.
absolutely true. And I also don't like the word influencer for the. I mean, for the lack of a better word, we use social media influencer,
Yeah.
but I also, I mean, equally dislike the word influencer, because you don't know who you're influencing.
Yep.
How do you know?
Yeah.
You have like say some K in front of your number of followers or whatever, but then how do you know who you're influencing?
I mean, like, the bulk of my following is like, you know, males between the age of 20 to 30 from Jharkhand. So, like, I mean, the day my following actually becomes like a female
Is that a
following,
problem?
no, it's just an observation. You know, that's who I'm influencing. And they
You're
don't
a
want to know my
great
skincare regime.
You're a great
Yeah.
actor, Isha.
They don't want to know my
I'd have to give
skincare
that to you.
regime. No, I mean, it's not about Jharkhand. I just like sort of said it. But my point is that
Point is 20 to 30.
my point is that my following at the moment is 70% male and
Is that a problem?
30%. Yeah, I mean, I think that I mean, it's like kind of like why boys come to yoga class, right?
Why do boys come to yoga
To
class?
check out girls.
So, do you think 70% men come to check out you
Yeah.
and not what you are, like, what you
100%.
stand for, what your content, what you're posting?
I
None.
certainly don't. I think 70% of that 70% is not. Like, there are times I think like we're just putting ourselves out there, and you know you think like your friends or your extended circle is kind of watching this, but everybody is watching. I used to live in this place in Warsaw called Police Colony, and it was like a nice little colony. I felt super safe over there. You know, I live alone, um, and you know there was this dog, okay, called Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Okay.
And I used to call him Johnny boy, right? Because Johnny used to really ignore me all the time. So I used to get really annoyed because he used to see me, he used to get really excited, come running, and then he would go right past me. And I was like, why you gotta be like every man in my life?
All right.
So yeah, so Johnny used to like really play with my feelings, and he was a really handsome stray dog.
Okay.
And he just like played with my heart all the time. Like I never knew if he was into me, not into me. Like sometimes he was, sometimes he would show up at my door, sometimes he would be like, I'd see him with like a neighbor or something. So I just like this, right? Like whatever I said, I made a whole series on Johnny, right? And I used to like document Johnny and my thing every day. And you know, I remember like this one time, this person messaged me saying, what if I tell you that like the best part of my day is seeing you walk out of that gate with your coffee and Johnny at your heels? And I mean, I didn't reply obviously, but I realized that this is someone who lives opposite the gate of Police Colony where I used to live, and I was just there for them to see. I mean, like, think about it. Don't you know the guy across, like, on the other building in the window? You kind of know them, right? Like, you know their face. You're like, it's that guy. In like Friends, there used to be ugly naked guy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But this guy was just watching this. I mean, he has a right to look out of his window. It's just that he, you know, he was just looking at some girl, right? Holding a coffee, playing with like the neighborhood dog. But he just happened to recognize her. And then he happened to either find her on Instagram or already knew her. And then he knew what I was doing at all times. He had context. You know, I was the girl outside his window. He knew what I was doing at all times. So now if I do something, like I'll only post about it like 5 hours later, 6 hours later, maybe the next day or something. I don't want, I mean, it's not like people are showing up at like whatever restaurant I'm at, but I don't know. I'm just
But that
going for the
I mean,
delay.
But that's happening quite a bit nowadays, right? Like when you're a, let's just put it this way, you're a public figure, and you
You
go
don't
out
even need
somewhere.
to be a public figure. I mean, think about it. You talk to someone. We discuss a microwave right now. It's going to show up in your ads. Right? I mean, like, it's gone. We just, I don't
It's
know.
overall gone. Like
I think
like
so.
privacy is gone.
I think so. I think like it's going to creep up on us that it is truly gone, right? In a while, like we're going to realize it in a while. But I think those days are past. Like they're behind us.
How is your relationship with your parents like in terms of everything? Like, are you scared of saying certain things to them, thinking they would not take it a certain way, or are you very open with whatever you do?
No, so I think that the way that actually one of my friends kind of made me aware of this. I think it was around COVID. So there was my mom, dad, and me. I have a sister. She lives in London, so she wasn't there. And we moved to a family friend's place in Goa during the first wave. And after that kind of settled down and people learned how to sort of live in the pandemic, my family was like, okay, I guess we're going to go back home to Delhi. And I wanted to stay in Goa, obviously,
Of
right?
course.
Because no one in Goa had heard of the pandemic at that point. Like everyone was just like roaming very freely. And my best friend lives there, and he was like, "Yeah, you can come stay with me or whatever. Come hang with me for a month." And I floated the idea by my parents, and they said no. So I told a friend about it. I'm like, "Oh shit, my parents aren't letting me stay." And this is the first time this occurred to me. She's like, "What do you mean let?" She's like, "You're an adult. You're a grown woman. You earn for yourself. You pay for yourself. You haven't taken money from your parents in about like a decade and a half or something. Why do they get to let you stay?" And I was just like, yeah, that's true. Why do they get to let me do anything? Right. And then I just realized, I'm like, we have a very permission based relationship with our parents. It's like we still feel like we got to ask them. I mean, it's not that like I've decided to do this and, I'm letting you know. It's like, can I do this? Like that still exists in all of us. And the friend who actually said this to me, she's like, you know, she said that she felt like she hadn't been very parented by her parents. I mean, she had great parents and they were very close, but she just felt like she hadn't been treated like a child enough. But that conversation made me realize that, I mean, even as like a completely grown, independent individual, like I'm still asking them for permission. And that's actually when I started working on it. I started to change that. Yeah.
That's interesting because as children, there's a difference. I always say this, and I am also sort of trying to break that shackle
Yeah.
with my parents, where I'm like, listen, I can make my own decisions.
Mm.
I'm in my late 20s. I'm earning for myself. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. Relax.
Yeah.
But
They,
just the
they,
fact,
they just keep seeing the forever and everything.
the forever and
Yeah.
everything, and also I always keep saying this, that there's a difference between guidance and control.
Right.
I am all in for guidance. Please tell me if I am going wrong somewhere. Again, right, wrong, again, very subjective again. But just the fact that some things they are much aware of, some things I am a little more aware of. So they'll be like, hey, you do this, ye wo. And I'm like, okay, fair. This sounds good. I also don't know much more of. तो
Yeah.
आपने बता दिया, very good, well done. But I have a problem when, in general, parents start controlling their kids. तुमको इतने बजे वापस आना पड़ेगा. तुमको ये पढ़ाई करके 95%.
But all control is fear based, right?
All
Like
control is
control
fear-based.
as like a concept like begets fear. Why do you feel the need to control anything? Is because you're scared. And when do you get scared is when you think you've lost control.
But why do you think they're so? Why do you think they control so much? मतलब उनको क्या? What if they let their kids free, give them the liberty?
I don't know.
Let's
I
think
don't
about
know
it.
if like anything came out of control, right? Like I don't think there's a formula to it, right? Like I mean,
आया है
like,
ना rebel.
well, no,
rebel. Rebelliousness has come out. So
maybe it hit me later in
yeah,
adult
I
life or
mean,
something. No, I think that, see, look, I mean, let's just say that like I'm your parent and I said that you got to do this thing, right? You did not want to do it, but you did it anyway and it turned out great, right? Now I get to say I told you so, and you're like, huh, actually, she did tell me so, and it's all worked out, right? So let's imagine this scenario where the control actually gave us great results, right? But okay, but what does that say about you? Are you are you an adult right now who's equipped to take your own decisions? No, because you're going to think that every good decision came from me, right? And what are we really going for in life? Like, what are we going for as humans? What are we gunning for? What's all this for? Right? Like, you want to grow, you want to expand, you want to become. When people say I want to become someone, I mean, I don't think this way anymore. That becoming someone is like the idea of being successful in in like quantities of like fame or money or whatever. I kind of just like look back at myself over the last decade and I'm like, I overcame some pretty heavy shit. I dealt with some stuff. I managed to like actually get myself in some kind of control. That means something to me, you know. So I don't know. Like I feel like it can work either way, right? Like maybe you get forced to marry someone. Guess what? You fell in love with them. But then what?
But was it
You
your decision?
Yeah, and I mean it's okay, but it's just that like you will never get to make a mistake, and honestly, how do you learn? When was the last time you learned from something going right? Like conflict is the basis of human growth, right? Even in a story, I've always said this when I'm writing, right? Like there's no story until something goes wrong. It's really, really boring. Like imagine watching a film where nothing goes wrong.
Of course.
Imagine if I tell you a story where nothing has gone wrong. You're really not going to be interested like after a point, right? And I think that's the
I'll be
same.
like, it's a linear graph. What is it happening? I mean,
Why am I here?
yeah.
Why'd you tell me the story? Right? Where is the twist? What went wrong? So you always want something to go wrong in any kind of storytelling. You want something to go wrong and then you want to show up to fix it. Right? That's when it gets interesting. How did you fix it? So isn't that like the same thing with like human life, right? There has to be some conflict, whether that's boredom, whether I recently had this conflict where I realized I was like, shit, I'm bored. I just kind of realized that like at this moment in my life, I feel really, really bored. So I got to do something about it. And it took me about like a week to get my ass to, like, off the couch and be like, okay, I got to do something about it. But I did it. And I'm pretty proud of myself. Like something came up, I dealt with it. That means more to me than the fact that like things were just going hunky-dory and everything was great. And, I just like went along with things being great. I mean, it's great when things go.
Lots of things you've mentioned. And there are lots of angles that we can take from this very bit. But
this is where you get to control.
This is where I get to control.
You're the host.
Of course. I love my job. I love what I do, and I absolutely enjoy the kind of conversations I've had with so many people across the episodes that we've had. But just to like sort of continue from the premise where you mentioned guidance versus control, and you mentioned that, one of the other problems that I really feel with, say, parent versus child relationship is the fact that when you disagree with them, it means you're disrespecting them.
Yeah.
And that sort of is too much ingrained in children, where you can't disagree. And I think that's a big problem to have.
Yeah.
That's a major problem in the entire sort of society, or whatever you may call it, or samaj or maryada or whatever that is. Great. I'm all for it. But can I not have my opinions?
Oh, yeah. And I think also what kind of happens, right, is that specifically talking about like India, right, and like, all of us who are sort of like young and able-bodied right now, our parents also had parents.
Correct.
Right? Our parents were also blaming them for something at some point in their life, right? And I think that the generational gap between us and our parents is a lot smaller than what our parents had with their parents.
Okay.
Our parents actually had to deal with people that were very different to them. We can still relate to our parents at some level, right? Like we can, like my dad partied, for example. Like, he partied a lot, like when he was a teenager or something like that. I can talk to him about that, right? Because he just kind of, it's not like I need to sit down and discuss a party with him or something, but he understands the urge of like wanting to go out and do something stupid. He gets it because he did it, right? But do you think that he could discuss that with his dad? No. His dad lost his dad and had to take care of his 4 younger brothers and became the head of the family. That's what he was doing at 18, right? So how does, like, what my dad gets to talk to his dad about is not the same thing that I get to talk to my dad about.
Right.
Right? Because he can kind of understand me. His dad couldn't. Right? So we have to understand that they've made, like, our parents have made bigger leaps than we have, honestly, to get here. But I do have a problem with this word guidance. Like, I think it's very arrogant.
Okay.
Because, like, why do you think that you're guiding me? You know what I mean? Like, they're always like, no, I'm just guiding you. Like, every time I get into a fight with my parents or my grandparents, like, I'm just guiding you. I'm like, what? Like, who gave you the authority? What do you know about this? And the guidance is always towards safety. Right? It's always the safe choice. No matter what it is, it's the safe choice. Whether it's the guy you're going to marry or the career you're going to choose, it's always the safety. You think I don't know that? Of course, I know the safe choice. That's my conflict. Right?
What's the AC temperature you keep when you're sleeping?
24.
And fan regulator at?
I don't do
Use
fans.
the fans.
No, I hate fans.
You hate fans.
I just hate fans.
This is a great conversation.
No,
Why?
I just don't
Why
like
do you
them,
like?
you know?
Why don't you like fans?
Because like,
This is
like
wrong.
fans just like really feel the need to make their presence felt all the time. You know what I mean? It's
No.
not a classist
No,
thing.
I don't know what you mean.
No,
Please
it's not a
explain.
classist thing. Let me just make that clear. Okay, I mean, I'm not talking about like the fact that
Are you
in one-
thinking about the comments that you're gonna get?
Yeah,
when you
of
say-
course,
So,
right?
so agency again. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so what? I'm a victim too. You know.
Wow, Isha. Well
But my
done.
point is, no, like fans like you, they're just
That's
annoying.
not how you play the
know,
game.
They really truly make their presence like the whir of the fan, and then I don't know, like I feel like I can never really like regulate the temperature to the speed to something that I want, and then it's just making itself like felt all the time. You know what I mean? Like the AC is like chilling. It's got like
ये
way
आपने
more
बढ़िया किया अभी
confidence.
ये ऐसे वैसे प्लांट को यूज
Yeah, it's
करके
like fan.
ये आपने अच्छा किया ये मतलब I think you're very true to your art. Effects, background. But what's the
Yeah.
problem? 3 पे मध्यम फैन चले
Oh
और
my god, do you do fan and AC? That's like the worst combination.
I'll add to it.
Oh Jesus.
3 पे फैन चल रहा है ठीक है 24 पे एसी चल रहा है चद्दर ओढ़ के रखे हो आप और एक टांग बाहर है दैट इज
Why is the ek tang bar?
एक टांग बाहर इज एब्सोल्यूट सुकून don't tell me you've never done this. Really?
No. I mean, I think it's a male thing. You always got to get one foot out. It's like a commitment issue.
चाय पीते हो या कॉफी पीते हो
No.
दोनों पीते हो क्या प्रेफर करते हो वन ओवर द अदर
They are not comparable for me.
आप
honestly.
बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग हो ईशा आप प्लीज आ जाओ थोड़ा सा और बता दो मेरे को आप बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग लग
No,
रहे
I
हो
think they like serve very different purposes.
You
honestly.
have some really strong answers for some very lame questions, and I'm really sorry. I don't know if that's a good thing, but you have some really strong opinions around chai, coffee. It's as if somebody has asked you this question n number of times, and you've arrived at a conclusion, thinking.
Do you think
Hey,
that nobody ever asked me chai or coffee before?
No.
I mean,
just saying,
it
I'm
is a
just saying-
question you get asked a lot, actually.
You do.
Beach or mountains? You know?
I'm not.
It's
Beach or mountains, Isha?
Beach.
All right then.
Yeah.
Back to chai, coffee. Why?
Why are they
What?
why are they not comparable?
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it for the caffeine.
What are you doing it for?
I love chai because it just is like a nostalgic thing for me, It's just sort of firstly I love desi chai. I really like it. And it
What
just
is
makes
desi
me-
chai?
Masala chai. for
Masala
me.
chai,
Yeah.
no, okay.
And it just takes me back home. I just love it. And it takes me back home in every way, not just like in a physical, but even it's like emotionally, mentally, I just go right back home. Wherever I am, you give me a cup of tea, I'm home. And coffee is different, coffee it's very adult. It's very sort of sophisticated. It's a different taste. You don't really need at least for a desi chai, I'm not talking about like lapsang, souchong or something, but like for a desi chai, of course, like there can be better chai, worse chai. Some people make great chai, but you don't need nuance to appreciate chai. You need a lot of nuance to appreciate coffee, right? Because most of us got introduced to coffee as adults. I mean, I'm not talking about cold
True.
coffee and all
True,
of that,
true.
but it's something we did as adults, right? It's sort of like, I mean, it's that thing, like when you start
that's
working,
true. This
you
is
gotta
true.
reach somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, chai is very much about like ghar ki chai, going back home. I used to love waking up and having chai. And it was always available. It is always available. It's the one thing you can find anywhere. And I'd also say that like bad chai is better than bad coffee.
Oh yes.
Right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Bad chai is better than bad coffee.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bad coffee is really bad.
Bad coffee, yeah, is
Bad coffee
horrible.
is really bad. Yeah.
I love this conversation for some reason. I don't know. I've never had like a 2.5 minute long conversation around bad chai, bad coffee. Would you like to have some chai?
No.
Arvind bhaiya, please. Let's have some chai.
Okay, I can have some
What
chai,
kind of
sure.
chai do you like? Can you please explain to Arvind? Arvind bhaiya ko bulao na ek बार. एक बार बुलाओ.
I like to go easy on the doodh shakkar.
हाँ, बस आप एक्सप्लेन कर दो कि किस तरह का
That's
चाय.
it. I mean,
गुड. कहाँ
and
है
I'm
वो?
like down for everything, like that whole like elaichi, cinnamon, जो भी डालना है डाल दो. Like it just works. Sharing a
Are
room
you
with
more
someone.
of a writer or more? Okay. Are you more of a writer or more of an actor? Or do you think? Oh, I'm sure you have strong opinions again. So, do you think these two overlap as well?
You know, they do for me.
Do you think that's a good question?
Yeah. I mean, I get asked a lot, like, do you like acting better or writing?
नहीं, हमने
know?
कुछ और ही पूछ लिया है.
Yeah, I'll just put it out there that anyone who is an actor, no matter what else they do, they prefer acting. Okay? Because that's the one kida that never gets satisfied. It just doesn't.
Okay.
You know? But am I more of an actor or a writer? I think I'm more of a writer in the way that I think. You know? To me, a good actor is someone who thinks with their body. You know what I mean? Someone who's in deep awareness of their body at all times. Both things need a lot of emotional intelligence. You know, it's funny that like actors have this sort of like stereotype of like not being the smartest, but truly to be a good actor, you got to be really intelligent, because look at what you're doing. You know, I'm not talking about like industry stuff and trade stuff, or you're putting yourself out there facing, you know, all that stuff. I'm just saying, look at what you're doing. You are choosing electively to go into a feeling again. You know, you're choosing to go into grief again. You're choosing to go into joy again. And how are you getting that? You're accessing that from somewhere else, and you're making that happen in your body. You know, and it's a really tough job.
Give me
I'm
like
saying beyond like the trade of, you know, being an actor. I'm just talking about acting.
the craft.
Yeah, the craft. It's really, really tough.
When you mentioned you were out with this guy, could or could not have been a date. I don't know. You've given me fodder. I'm gonna feed on it.
I don't know. Like, what is coffee?
Huh?
What is coffee? Is it a date or not a date?
What
makes
coffee?
it a date? Like, what makes it a date? Is it the intent?
Eisha, I am relating
You know?
to you as hard as I don't think I've ever related to anybody, because I have very similar thoughts and questions, and I don't think I've gotten answers to.
Well,
What
I think
qualifies
that, yeah.
as a date?
Well, I think that like when two people call it a date, it's a date. You know, if two people
But
like
if
come here with the
if two people actually talk about what constitutes a date and they have differing answers, then that isn't a date.
I suppose
You
so.
get what I'm
Where can two people's
Thoughts
two people
clash.
can be on a date and one person can think it's one and the other can think not.
Yeah,
But
totally.
are there really two things like are there really like sort of like things that two people can list about a date and then that be different?
Could be. I mean,
Is it really
somebody,
possible that you and I would describe what makes a date a date? Could that really be different? We could be on a date and one of us could think it's not one.
Sure.
But the way we both define a date may be
that
different
could
words.
also be different. Yeah.
How? Okay, let's
No?
try. Let's try.
What's a date for you?
It's an intent towards romance of some kind. You're either going for romance or you're going for sex. It's one of the, you know, I'm not on a date to make a new friend. I got enough of those.
What kind of male interactions you've had in your life?
I mean, I think the men in my life have been like serious bummers, honestly.
Please keep elaborating.
Well, I'm not like a man hater or anything. You know, I've got wonderful men in my life.
Sure.
I just think that maybe, well, you know, okay, firstly, like I'm talking about like cis-het relationships, right? I mean, I'm talking about straight men, straight women, because I don't know enough about other dynamics. But I would say that I think I think the men that I have been in contact with, like they tend to escape a lot. You know what I mean? They tend to sort of try to go around things a lot, or yeah, I've seen a lot of escapist behavior by men, which I don't see in women. Like women like to get into it, and sometimes a little too much. But
is it because of commitment issues?
I mean, anyone can have a commitment issue.
But why are they like beating around the bush?
No, I don't. I think
कुछ तो है, कुछ तो कहानी है.
No, I think that maybe I have a theory that men think that, you know, when they kind of like put themselves out there a little bit, right? Like, so like, okay, so women are very used to being wooed, right? Indian women especially, right? So you'll find that like when there is an attraction between two people, and we're still playing to these tropes, right? Like that the man has to make the effort and play the masculine role and things like that. And then you'll find that like the man will chase, and he gets the girl, and then what happens? Who's chasing? I mean, it does kind of flip. It's like it's fair to say that this is a generality that happens to most people, you know. And I don't know. I feel like maybe it's very conquestual for men. Like I've always felt that like at a larger level, like sex can be very conquestual for men. It's done. I got there, and I'm not. Maybe it's not just sex. Maybe it's just about like whatever qualifies you, like you got the girl, whatever that means, right? They do tend to lose some amount of interest after that because they are driven by the hunt, they are driven by the action. It is a masculine tendency to
Right.
do,
Right.
that is actually even inside a woman, that would be the masculine tendency to like do stuff, go out there, do something about it, make it happen. That's all very, I'm not going to say male, I'm saying masculine. The
Correct.
feminine tendency is to like to rest, to allow, to receive, all of those things. Even in within you and me also, like both things, both polarities exist, and they're
Of
supposed
course.
to,
Of course.
right? Like when I'm allowing myself to feel my feelings and all of those things, then I'm leaning into my feminine. When I decide to do something about it, I'm leaning into my masculine. So obviously, fair to say that men would be likely more masculine or like just more tuned into that. And it happens. They like to make things happen. And I think that very often men are very scared to commit because they are very scared of owning responsibility and then not being able to live up to it. If a woman sets a standard for herself and she fails, she can forgive herself. It's very hard for men to do that. So if you like, I'll find that like a guy will like be hanging out with a girl, like there's nobody else, he's not sleeping with anyone else, he's not texting anyone, he's really into her, he just won't say the words. Because once you said it, you've set a standard for yourself, and once you've set a standard, you can fail, right?
What constitutes a good story?
Conflict.
Conflict.
Good conflict.
Okay.
A good story. I think for me, a good story, or let me just put it this way, I'm not going to say it's a good story or a bad story, but the kind of writer I am, and what works for me in general is when a story is circular.
Okay.
When something is set up and the conflict shows up and you solve it, and then you kind of, it's like that beauty of a callback, right? Like even in a comedy show when someone calls it back, or like
Right.
in our conversation you're like coming right back to that, right? Like that feels really good. That like we just did this whole like song and dance, and here we are, the same place, but just older, wiser, better.
Correct.
Right? So for me, I've always been into like the slice of life story, or when someone gets me to view something in a different way. Personally, I love the English language. I get a lot of flack for this on social media. Like,
Why?
I mean, I just really, I think in English, for me, it's my first language.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm supposed to go back to Britain, where I was never from in the first place. No, but I mean,
Why do you get it? Like, is it because you speak so confidently in English, or is it because you have?
I have a good command on the language. I have
Which
better
you
command
have.
on English than I do in Hindi. I speak Hindi very fluently, but I sort of seem
हाँ
to be.
ये मैंने भी नोटिस किया इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में एंड आई एम सेइंग दिस लाइन वेरी स्पेसिफिकली इन हिंदी
क्या
बिकॉज
नोटिस किया कि
नोटिस
मैं हिंदी
किया
बोल सकती हूँ?
नहीं हिंदी आप बोल सकते हो यू चूज टू आंसर इन इंग्लिश
Because I think better in English. Because I'm more articulate in
ये मैंने
English.
नोटिस किया एंड टू ईच देयर ओन इसमें
As long as you get it, as long as you understand what I'm saying.
हाँ मतलब
Yeah.
anyway carry on so you were saying English is a wonderful language.
I really enjoy English. I think that I kind of I love the fact that it allows for so much articulation. I mean, I just groove on it. Honestly, I don't know many more languages other than English and Hindi, so I can't speak so much for all of them. But I think the language that you can be funny in is your language.
But are you like somebody who would think in punchlines? Like would you take pressure on yourself for being funny?
You know,
कि shit अबे यार funny बनना पड़ेगा यार, इतने देर से मैं joke नहीं मारा. Would you be that?
I think that once you discover that you're funny, or once someone has validated you for being
Okay,
funny,
great.
you're screwed, because it is so scary to not be funny once you've
Yeah.
identified with being funny. I mean, like, once you've identified with being funny, then it's like it's frightening, the idea of not being funny.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, I've thought
Like,
about
I
it. I
mean,
am very much on the same page as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a reason why I'm sort of exploring stand-up comedy. There's
Yeah.
no other reason. Because I think, like, when I sit in rooms, I sort of tend to take pressure sometimes. Because I have a really good night's sleep when I am in the room and when I make people laugh, and people laugh at the silliest of my jokes, and they're like, oh, so funny. And I'm like, that was not even a joke that I thought of.
Yeah.
But then when I see people laugh and I come back home and I'm like, oh, that was a nice day.
Yeah, sure.
It's
I mean, if you're funny,
extremely validating.
whatever, yeah, it is, and the thing is that, like, whatever is good about you, exploit it, put it out there. Sure. If you're kind, put that out there. If you're generous, put that out there. If you're funny, put that out there. But funny is one, because I think it's just very easy to identify as that, right? And it's just like so socially acceptable.
Right.
It's like how to make friends. Like, just go be funny, make people laugh. It's it's hasi to phasi and all of that stuff, right? So when you
Ashita
don't have
Fuzzy
that,
is true for you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, it's such a cliche.
But we're going to come back to storytelling. So you said conflict is one essential
I think,
attribute to a good story.
Yeah, which is
Callback?
not something I'm saying. This is something that's out there in every writing book or
Sure,
every story book.
but just like coming back to what we were
But for
discussing.
me,
So conflict.
conflict of any kind. It can be external conflict, internal conflict. For me, when stories are circular, when
Callback.
when we are like right here, and like sitting right here, we went on this journey. We discovered all sorts of things. We fixed them, we solved them, we problem solved, and then we come right back here.
Right.
But we're just better. We're just wiser. We just have more insight. That to me is a really great story.
I wanna. मेरे दिमाग में बहुत interesting question है, and please call me out if you think it's not interesting enough.
How do I call you out? Like, just not answer?
Just tell me it's stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Next question. No. I'm just saying that as writers, obviously you can't and you will not have lived everything that you're writing. Do you have to be in a certain, say, frame of mind or zone about the topic that you're writing? How do you get to know more about the subject you're writing? Is the question clear?
Yes, it's a good question. I have a good answer. But I think that, so for me, acting and writing are really very much the same thing.
Okay.
They're just different. The internal process is the same for me. The external process is different. But I think that you have actually experienced everything. You may not have experienced it in the way it shows up on a script, actor, writer, however, but you've experienced everything. You've experienced every emotion. You've been sad, you've been happy, you've gone through grief, you've been embarrassed, you've been humiliated, you've felt stupid, you've gone through everything. The skill in this work is being able to tap into that, right? It's just about tapping into that emotion. Is there an emotion that you've not felt? Have you ever heard of an emotion that you've not felt? Some people struggle with empathy, I know that, legitimately. Like, some people have told me that. But truly, like, we felt everything.
Yeah.
So the skill really is like taking this thing that you felt from here, bringing it back here, and then putting it out over there. Right? So I would say that, like, yeah, sure, maybe I've not experienced everything in the way it looks and sounds, but I've experienced everything internally. I could have experienced it in different intensities, less intensity, more intensity.
Have you been
whatever.
asked to write about something that you are not really passionate about? And
Oh yeah, and it's not worth it, I'll tell you that.
Why would you say yes? Have you
Money?
said yes to?
Yeah, because I gotta make money.
Okay. बहुत simple है.
Why would anyone do something they don't want to do?
पता नहीं. Look, how lucrative is writing?
It's pretty lucrative. I think the industry is in a really bad place.
Can we
now.
talk about figures
No.
openly?
No.
Let's not talk about. I don't want to ask you very specifically in terms of how much money you make, but I'm just saying that in terms of how lucrative is writing as a process, in like writing as a profession in general, because I'm assuming there are people who are listeners of this podcast who are aspiring writers and they want to know a little bit of the profession. And since you are a writer yourself and you're an actor yourself, so it's very interesting to play both parts,
Yeah.
because then
Well,
you, as an actor, you see a script and you're like, hey, I could have written this better. I'm sure. And as a writer, you're like, hey, can I get to play this part? This is very interesting.
I face this conundrum all the time.
So again, I would just want to talk about money because it's imperative that we do, because our audience would
You
love.
know, honestly, it's really hard to say is something lucrative or not. Like, it just depends on how good you are and how badly someone wants you.
How lucrative can it get?
It can get very lucrative, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is that, so, okay, let me put it this way. Actors get a lot of money for being on set for a day. Now, if you consider, okay, you make that much money in a day, sometimes it's crazy, right? But sometimes you might only work like one day of the month or one day of the year. You don't get work every day as an
Right.
actor. The day you get work, you get paid well, but you don't get to work every day. So, and you don't get paid for, you know, I've seen this very often. This happens like when you're shooting a TV ad or something, right? Because so TV ads will really teach you about the economy of acting. Can you get to this emotion in like 3 seconds? Because we only have 15, right?
Correct.
So that's something that happens over there. Like actors love to feel and get into it and all that. We don't get to do that in an ad, right? So you get to learn that, like how to go through that entire graph, but you got to be here in like 3 seconds. Now that takes practice. That took me years to get there. Are you paying me for all those years? You think I can do something in like 7 seconds? Yeah, well, it took me 7 years to be able to do that. Are you paying for that? That's what you're paying for, right? So, is it lucrative? Yeah. Is it worth it? I don't know. You go through a lot of shit as an actor, even as a writer. Honestly, there's no good job in filmmaking when it comes to just you can't avoid like the trauma of being a film professional. There's a lot of rejection.
But
There's a
how,
lot of waiting.
what's the worst that you've gone through as a writer? Like, what are the most common tantrums you've heard?
The worst that I've gone through as a writer is other people's stupidity.
Okay,
Yeah.
elaborate on that a little.
Must I?
Give me a story. If there's an incident that you want to share, explain it through a
Well, like,
story.
I mean, it's like, you know, it's sometimes even feedback. Like, the most commonly heard feedback in the film world would be baat nahi bani. Maza nahi aaya. Okay. That is fair if you are an audience. That is not fair if you are my boss. That is not fair if you get to decide whether this is a draft I get paid for or not, or if this is the take that's going to go. You can't say maza nahi aaya. You got to tell me, because you are a director or a producer or a platform executive. You got to do better than that. You got to do better than that with your feedback. I'm sorry. If you can't do better than that, you don't deserve to be sitting in that chair. For sure. Maza nahi aaya? Are you kidding me? Go watch a film then. You know, I mean, why are you sitting here?
But it's the most common thing you've heard,
It is the most common line.
both
Maza
as
nahi-
an actor, as a
It's such
writer.
a cop out. It's such a cop out. It means that I don't have the faculty to tell you how to fix this or to tell you what's wrong. You know? I just don't think he would do that. I think he would. I mean, what should I say?
How you give feedback is very important, right?
Of course. I mean, that is the least that like a creative person deserves, right? If I did it wrong, that's fine. If I didn't do it well enough, that's fine. Can you tell me how to do it better? Because if you can't, then you don't get to decide if
So
it's
give
good or
me like a
bad.
nuanced feedback as to,
Give me
okay,
feedback.
this part.
Nuance, I mean, oh my gosh, that's like a really, really tall order. Give me feedback. Give me real feedback that I can
खुल के
understand.
बताओ क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या है, क्या गलत है, क्या
Yeah.
नहीं है, क्या.
So I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example of great feedback that I
Okay,
got once.
आ
Okay.
जाओ.
So I was in a film, which is on Netflix. It's called Afwa. It's directed by Sudhir Mishra. It was when I got directed by Sudhir Mishra is when I truly, truly understood what direction is. All right. So in this film, so I was cast. I was Nawazuddin's wife, and I was sort of cast. The idea was there was a little bit like the whole film. There was a play on sort of class, right? There was a sort of a dynamic that comes into every interaction in that film. So in the case of this marriage, he was a middle class man who married an upper class woman. That was pushed a lot in our dynamic in the film, right? That's the story. There's a moment in the film where he dies, or he almost dies. We think he dies in that part of the film, and I come across him dying. Right now, he is my husband. I am in love with him in this story. So obviously, when you see like your husband die, what are you going to do? Shout, scream, and cry, right?
Right.
So I did that because that's the most obvious choice I can make as an actor. But so the sir kept asking me to tone it down, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, why would I tone it down? I don't want my husband to die. And then he explained it to me in the larger context of the film. He's like, at the moment that Nawaz is dying, there are riots. All right, everybody is screaming. There's shouting, crying, screaming happening from every corner of this film, right? That's what's happening for half an hour in the film, is that everyone is shouting and screaming and crying. And he's like, but everyone in this film is a gunda. He's like, they can't play it in any other way. So he said, you are the only character in this film where I get some respite. You are the only one that can have a different reaction. So this is why I need you to not do the thing that you want to do and do something else. Now you see, when it makes sense and you can do it. But if he just asked me, play it down, I would never be able to perform that in an honest, authentic way because I just wouldn't understand it. What I thought was really wonderful about that moment is that he did not underestimate the intelligence of the actor, right? And he was open to me giving it to him in any way that I could come up with that might be different, that may be maybe an idea that he wouldn't have thought of, or an idea that maybe even I wouldn't have thought of before he said that to me. But that is direction. That is really good direction. That's explaining to me that why this choice that I want to make is something that's not going to work.
Got it.
And I love that. I really love that. That was one of my most defining moments as an actor, where I'm like, oh yeah, this is not a scene, this is a film.
And most people don't give
I don't
that
know.
kind
I
of
don't
a
know if they
feedback.
care enough, honestly. Most of the time,
Really?
people just want to move on. Like most of the time, like it's very rare that you find a director that
Really cares about the project they're doing?
no, of course they care, because I mean, even a director also goes through the same hardships as anyone else
Sure.
in film, right? But they may not care to make you understand. Let's put it that way. Very often they care that they got their shot and that it looks the way they want it to look and the feeling is coming across, but it may not matter to them that you had that experience.
Would they assume they've gotten it already?
I don't know. It depends. If they got what they want, it's fine. But I feel like if you got what you want, like, explain it to me, right? Like, I'm here too.
Do guys just want to sleep with women and not be really into that person?
You tell me.
You talk about
Why?
your
I'm not a
experiences.
man. You tell me.
No, I don't know. I mean, some do, some don't.
Exactly. And there's no type of man, right? Like, sometimes someone could be interested in you for just
Sure,
that, and
sure.
then and could really fall for the next girl. And sometimes someone just made up their mind that you're the only woman in their life. I mean, I don't think it's there's no formula to that. I think that
मेरे को लग रहा है आपके पास एक बढ़िया आंसर है. आप प्ले अराउंड कर रहे हो. मेरे को लग रहा है आपके पास एक अच्छा आंसर है इस
do
क्वेश्चन.
guys no, but I mean, do guys only want to sleep with women and not be in relationships? Of course not. Of course, there's guys who want to be in relationships, and of course there are guys who don't, and then of course there are people who see you that way and some who don't. There's no like quippy answer. There's no plot twist to this.
Sure, there's no plot twist.
That's like
but
asking, like, do all women just want to get married? I mean, I don't
ये
know.
same tangent पे है दोनों. I'm just asking. I don't
Yeah,
know.
kind of. Like, I mean, we're just taking a generalization and like asking, is it true or not? It's a generalization.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, you tell me. I'm sure there are some women that you only want to sleep with, or have only ever wanted to sleep with, and then some that you wanted to be in a relationship with.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you one type of guy or the other.
Hmm.
It just means that at that moment, that's not what you felt for that person.
Got it.
Yeah. And it's not to say that having desire for someone is not a small thing. It's okay to only want that, as long as you're clear, right? It's okay to only want to have sex with someone and not want anything else out of it. You just got to make sure that that's what they want. And I think it's only fair to make sure that that's what they want as well.
Right.
Just have like proper communication, or even afterwards. Like, it's really important to kind of like follow up and do like real aftercare. All women have had sexual trauma. All Indian women have had some form of sexual trauma. It happens every time we walk out on the street. So if you've been with a woman, you need to make sure, even if you don't want to be with her again, you need to make sure that she feels taken care of, whether it's in your conversation, whether it's in your clarity, whether it's in just the general consent. You got to make sure that you're there to take care of her, even if you're not going to be with her again. And that I don't think all men do. They think that just because you've had the conversation, explain to them that you don't want to be in a relationship, your job is done. No, I'm sorry. It's a very intimate thing. That's not how you treat it. That's not the way I would ever treat anyone. You know, it's too dismissive of another human being.
True.
No.
True.
So
Word.
to me, that's basic manners. But the conversation that often happens with people is, hey, I'm not looking for anything serious, right? And like that is supposed to be, that's it. Like you've done your job. I'll let you know. It doesn't matter what you might feel after. I let you know. So I'm not available to you for any conversation other. I don't think that you are worthy of another conversation or a check-in or anything. Like, come on. Seriously, like that's not a green flag at all. That's a red flag for any woman out there. Even if that guy is in love with her.
Being ghosted on. This
Yeah,
is
I've
ghosting
been,
only.
well, not ghosting. I think like ghosting is like when you just be a ghost, right? Like when you're not.
But this is again just saying that, hey, listen, I'll let you know. And then freaking disappear.
Well,
Yeah.
you tell me, how have you and how many men do you know who just like come up to a woman and be like, well, I told you from the start. Now it's your problem, right? It's like a real cop out. A lot of men do it, but I had the conversation. I don't know you needed to have the
I
conversation.
love the change in.
What? Me? Oh, poor me.
No, I love the change in the voice.
Yeah, well, I
No,
mean-
you tell me what.
Well, that's the moment where like a really intelligent guy will just decide to play dumb when he's called out for that, right? I'm telling you, I've seen the wokest of men, right, who would call out any other guy to their girlfriends or their female friends for that, and then suddenly they're like, "What? What? You mean like I had some kind of like emotional responsibility towards you? You what? Like I was accountable? But I told you. Like,
I mean, it so
come
happens.
on.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair to wash your hands clean of someone that easily. That's not intimacy. I'm sorry. That's sex. You know, that's not interesting to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eisha, for this very enlightening conversation. How did you feel being on the podcast? Your honest, unfiltered feedback on that camera.
I had a great time on this podcast. I think you're a great host, and I would just say that more than being a great host, you're a great conversationalist. Somebody who actually listens, and not just listening like hearing, but actually have curiosity about what the other person is saying. That's all you want from a conversation, right? That's all you want from a conversation, right?
आप चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करने बोल दीजिए. But before that, thank you
आप
so
प्लीज
much.
चैनल पे सब्सक्राइब कीजिए.
बस
मैंने हिंदी में बोल दिया. और क्या
यार
बोला?
आप you've done so much YouTube. You can do better. Come on.
Oh God.
Come on. Like, share, subscribe. Come on.
You want me to do like, share, and subscribe? Yes, right here. I've done a lot of branded content in my life.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's pretty evident
Yeah.
also. But
CTA.
CT,
CTA. Worst.
can you mimic somebody and do this? It'll be great.
CTA?
No, not CTA. Like just say like, share, subscribe, follow the podcast, follow the reels, follow us. Something like do an outro by just mimicking somebody,
Cool.
some actor, some personality, anybody. I think you'll do a good job, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna play the guy that I talked about. Like, what? I gotta like, share, and subscribe. I told you I was never gonna do that. Right? I already had the conversation with you. I always told you I was never gonna like, share, and subscribe.
Every dismissive man ever, which means every man ever. All right then. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm gonna link Eisha's channels, Eisha's socials in the description box below. Please go check it out. Please go check her workout as well. Is there any special plug that you have that you want to plug on camera? Any work that's coming out? Anything that people can look forward to?
No, I know. Just you follow me too. And then you'll see whatever I'm up to.
All right then. I'm going to link her socials in the description. Please go check her workout. We have a separate channel called Deepak Pareek Clips where we post short snippets of the main conversation on that channel. Certain 2-minute, 5-minute conversations and shorts as well, because YouTube says shorts को promote करेंगे और वहाँ से content निकलेगा. So we'll do that. Please comment down your most favorite part in the comment section. We'll see. We'll sort of get ideas from where to take conversations ahead.
And then we'll reshoot this podcast based on your comments.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah, we'll
don't
do a
mind.
part two.
We should
but,
do a
but,
part
but
two.
it'll be a repeat. We'll just go back through the entire conversation.
Okay.
That would be really interesting.
All right.
You know what? It's like, let's do that. Let people put comments, right? That you should have done this, you should have said this, you should talk to him.
What should we have done
Yeah.
in this episode that we didn't?
And then we're going to do it, and then you see if you actually like it,
That's a great idea.
right?
All right
Because
then,
they'll find that they
let's do that. Let's do that. But I'm assuming अगर आप ये podcast के end तक पहुंच चुके हो तो आपके पास भी जिंदगी में बहुत time है. तो आप please subscribe करो, YouTube बंद करो and get to work. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Friday, same time, 6 p.m. Till then, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.